Do I hear you say palm oil gives you blood? Listen carefully, I've been hearing this for a while, but it's time to bring clarity to it. Palm oil basically contains beta carotene and fat, which is good for overall well-being, but that does not necessarily mean that it gives you blood. In fact, palm oil does not even contain iron, and iron is the key nutrient we need to increase our hemoglobin level, which is very significant to our red blood cells. The hemoglobin is divided into two. There is the heme aspect, and then there is the globin aspect. The heme aspect is divided into ferrous, which is the iron aspect, and protoporphyrin. And then the globin aspect is divided into amino acid chains, which are subdivided into alpha and beta chains. Now, increase in your red palm oil intake, to be specific, does not have anything to contribute to this. Now let me tell you, I am not saying it is bad for you to eat red palm oil, but it is also not good for you to eat excessive red palm oil. Now this is the simple law of toxicology. A remedy can become a poison depending on its dosage. If you increase your amount of palm oil intake, especially the red palm oil, you are increasing the fat that is entering your body. You are increasing the level of unnecessary calories that can increase your weight and get you obese, and that is not a good news. Don't also forget to note that the fat that is present in that palm oil is called saturated fat. And excessive saturated fat can raise your low density lipoprotein level, which is the bad cholesterol. Now, if that bad cholesterol gets deposited into blood vessels that are responsible to supply essential organs, for example, your heart, if it gets deposited into the coronary artery that is responsible to supply the myocardium, which are the muscles of the heart, that is one of the causes to what we call heart attack. Medical people call it myocardial infarction, because it can reduce the blood supply to the heart muscle, and then it can make them get starved. Another thing that is very important to know, do you know that if that bad cholesterol in the form of low density lipoprotein gets deposited into the blood vessels that are responsible to supply nutrients and oxygen to the brain, which are called the internal carotid arteries and the vertebral arteries, that can serve as a risk factor to stroke, because it can reduce blood supply to the brain. And if blood supply reduces, it means there is deficiency of oxygen already in the brain. It means nutrients and glucose specifically is not reaching the brain, and then that can basically serve as a risk factor for stroke. This is also important. Now let's say it gets deposited to the arteries that are responsible to supply the kidney, which are called the renal arteries. It can lead to renal artery stenosis, and renal artery stenosis can serve as a risk factor for acute kidney injury. It can even further serve as a risk factor for chronic kidney injury, which is not good for you, which is not good for anyone. So have you seen why it is very important for you to moderate your palm oil intake? Now this is very important for you. Medical people, from research that has been conducted, have come to realize that deficiency of iron intake is one of the most common causes of anemia. So instead of spending a lot of money increasing your palm oil intake, why not spend that money on foods that are very rich in iron? Example, eggs, fish, beans, even the leaves that we eat. Cassava leaf, your potato leaf, they contain iron that are very significant to increase your hemoglobin level. And also, it is very important, it is not just about eating foods that contain iron. You also have to eat food that can increase iron absorption. And those foods are foods that are rich in vitamin C. Specifically, for example, your orange, your lemon, your pineapple. These are all very, very much significant. So instead of spending a lot of money increasing your palm oil intake, spend money on foods that can increase your iron intake.